Division 1, everybody! Ross Pierdol, RPD, goes up against Dust in Hoffmann. I have no idea how they got all the dust into him, but they really should try to get it out, because that doesn't really sound like a healthy nor a pleasant thing. But either way, we got our two Division 1 teams here in a best-of-3 series of Heroes Lounge. And on the left side of the map, our blue team with Macr on Garrosh, 10 Vaclav on Chromie, we got Bronick on Zarya, Cassia on Stukov, and Ether on Mathael. And on the right side of the map, Dustin Hoffman, the red team, with Nagab on May. We got Tolnai on Junkrat, Stark on Malfurion, Bubastis on Sonya, and Nordakus is playing Falstad. And it should honestly be fun, just on the fact alone that we're on Brexit holdout again. Map that we don't see all that often, but should still be pretty cool. Now, this is again the current live patch, so Gladiator's Medallion, as I've said so many times, is in play, but we don't have a visualization in our UI, in our observer interface yet. Hopefully that's gonna change soon, TM, but for the time being, the knowledge that it's there has to be enough. So it's pretty much a self-cleanse. People have been nitpicking a little bit that it's not technically a self-cleanse, it's an unstoppable, but I guess most of you understand what I mean with that. So yes, you have now an unstoppable on your hero that you can use. Obviously, if you're already stunned, you can't cleanse that stun out. I mean, duh. I think that went without saying, but if some people didn't understand that until now, there is a little bit more specific. So, as this is already starting up, we have a 2 versus 1 setup all the way up at the top, where Ether is going up against, well, Sonya and Falstad, so it's not really a whole lot they can do. The problem for them is that at the bottom of the map there's also a little bit of action going on, but unfortunately for Stukov, he got booped over the wall, and that's a kill! Nicely done by Tolnai on his Junkrat, and they're also going for Chromie. Oh, he nearly got away. That would have been awesome. Chromie getting slapped around a little bit, and there's that. So off we go. But yeah, so again, it's a 5-minute cooldown for the Gladiator's Medallion whenever you use it. So kind of noteworthy here. And of course, at some point, it will be reflected in the UI. Of course, not in the official Blizzard UI, because Blizzard doesn't give a fuck about esports and observing. But for all of those good things, we got Ali, who will come through. And yeah, big shout out to him already. He's the guy who designed the interface that you see here right now. But again, with all of that said and done, we have a little bit of progress here on the objective for our red team. So they are not really as dusty as they apparently make out to be. Another setup, nice! Junkrat honestly is starting to murder people here. That's the 3rd kill that they were able to lock in, just on the back of Junkrat being able to use his mines here properly. We also have Falstad with his level 1 going into Wingman, so we will see a few camps stolen away if you can get those stacks reliably used. And in addition to that, Chromie now with her stacks on level 1. We got with the Indomitable another source for Unstoppable for Garrosh, the additional pick for him. And of course with May in play over here. Might have to use the trade, seems to be in cooldown. Oh, there we go. Alright, well done. Yeah, but May is still in a bit of trouble. I don't really think that Sonya can get the kill, though. Nearly pushed out again. The problem is that Malthael died all the way up at the top, but there's still a lot of action down here. Gladiator's Medallion gets actually used by Bronick. You can see that greenish tint that we just saw for a second around her, so there's a bit of a visual indicator for it too. But all the way up at the top, that's a lot of problems now for Ross Pierdol, as they are about to lose their first fort here. Objective heavily leaning in favor of the red team. And that is a pretty difficult one to stop, especially since Ether's Malthael went down a bit earlier. So now a full-on rotation down to the bottom of the map, as the red team is hoping to get some damage onto the bottom wall too. And they're on their way here, trying to take this one out. They currently have a 5 versus 1 situation going for them. Need to be a little bit careful of Garrosh, but could also help that situation by simply bursting through one of the side walls here. If someone gets pooped over, they still have a chance to escape. And in this case, 1 tower down. Yep, there's the flip, but the gate is open by now, so there's no problem for Sonya to get away here. Well done. Experience lead is obviously there too now for the red team. They're currently on 4 kills to 0, and will soon have their level 7 talent. Zarya still trying to get her stacks together a little bit more on the Dragon's Breath for Chromie, now that we have the Möbius loop in play for her. And on the quest side, I mean, Garrus is nearly done with his level 14, so there's that. And it's party time over here as everybody is starting to go in. Bam! Junkrat down, nicely done. And May nearly gets away. Well, she gets away, but it was a close call. Chromie is trying to get the kill secured here. Okay, once again the trade comes out from the frontliner. They still don't have the level 7, and I gotta admit, it's a bit surprising that the blue team was able to just invade this as easily as they did, and now also take the additional talents. Kinda surprised to see charged up here too. I mean, this makes very little sense. Again, Boomerang is usually the talent to go for anyways. We've had this talk a lot of times. But as I say pretty much every time we're having the Boomerang discussion, you can go into charged up, especially when you have some kind of melee assassin, for example, on the other side that has a lot of mobility, and you are afraid that you're just getting farmed. But there's nothing really on the other side that justifies that pick, so it's quite surprising that we have that choice for Falstad. That should have definitely been a Boomerang pick, considering the map and also the lineup that they're going up against. Either way, it's not going to be the one thing that wins or loses them the game, but it definitely would make things a bit more easier on the macro level. Yeah, Stukov with a good silence over here as they're trying to go for May, and yep, there's a slide, easily able to jump away from it. Now with the setup that we're seeing here, level 10 abilities are also going to be... Oh, there's a steal. Nice. Seems like they're going to get this one. Just in time. Oh yeah, but they get the camp. That's all that you want to do here. Get a little bit of push power going. But Garrosh doesn't get dodged, and Falstad is dead. Easily taken down. Can't escape here. Easily eliminated. And nicely done. So it seems like the blue team is slowly able to get a few kills themselves. That's 2 in a row now, so they're starting to close in on this a little bit more. But once again, the red team is the one that holds on to the objective. Nobody made sure that the top beacon would still be claimed by them, and that's actually really surprising. The blue team was with 5 on the map, but still lost control of the objective, so that's a little bit weird here. But they get their kills in now. They get another one, this time against Junkrat. Falstad is flying in now too. The problem really is that the progress bar is still working in favor of the red team. Dust in Hoffmann is doing fairly well here, controlling the position now that Falstad is back to business. And this is starting to become a little bit concerning. This could be 100-0 if this continues. But thankfully, Malthael sits topside now and has taken over beacon control. But either way, even if the blue team is able to turn this one around on the objective, it's going to be a pretty big wave for the red team. So... yeah, they can't really be too happy with what's going on here, the blue team. But now, attempt to maybe get the kill right here. Sonya is moving in against Stukov. That could be the kill. Yeah, turns around. Here comes again the damage from Chromie as they're trying to go for the kill. And Sonya is down. And so is May. May is annihilated. By now we have the level 10 abilities in play that gives us the last rights. And in addition to that, we also have the Warlord's Challenge right over here. Stukov hasn't really made any choices just yet. A little bit of play around Junkrat once more. Here comes the taunt, and the rat is dead as Chromie comes in and just murders him easily. So, nicely done here. Chromie happy about that, of course. Up at the top! Nope, not a kill.
Nope.
Didn't happen. In this case, Falstad survives. No stack for Malthael. Can't get this one. And here we go. Control slowly shifting in favor of the blue team as they try to use their heroic ability advantage to control the objective. And just as I say, they're losing the top again and still hold on to the bottom. But once that we have level 10 for Dust and Hoffmann, this should honestly be a bit of a twist. There's another flip attempt as they're trying to go for another kill. Junkrat in trouble, and Junkrat is dead again. He just can't stay alive, can he now? He gets absolutely murdered time and time again, same as happened to Garrosh now. And off we go with the Avalanche in play. And in addition to that, we have the Mighty Gust, so a lot of control tools in the hands of the red team after they finally got access to their level 10 abilities. Chromie, on the other hand, she is crushing. I mean, she is at 25,000 damage right now. She delivered a lot of kills into the hands of the blue team. We have 4 kills against Junkrat alone, which is just incredible. So as well as he did at the beginning of the game, at this point he needs to play this a little bit more carefully. Riptire already coming out, but not really doing a whole lot there either. Waiting for the shield to dissipate so that he can get at least some hit point damage onto Malthael. Falstad is flying in. Objective, by the way, has been conquered. And they're trying to save May. But yeah, she actually oops out. And gets crushed. it's obviously kind of nice if you have the Gladiator's Medallion ready and can use the Unstoppable to dodge out on the ult from Chromie. So that's kind of cool. But that's a pretty big wave now at the bottom of the map, and this helps a lot. Now, Falstad at this point is kind of regretting not taking Boomerang. Then again, it's only a small Zerg wave, so it's not really too difficult to take it down. But the wave that would have helped. And there's another delivery system. Yeah, and this time he gets his stack. Nicely done. 2 kills for the blue team. Well played here, and a stack for Marcel. Congratulations. Our boy is starting to get a little bit of damage in on this one. Now, with 10 kills to 5, things have turned a little bit. All of a sudden, we have the blue team heavily in the lead here. Twice the kills, and now the position on the map to also go for the boss. Now, there's no Gust around. Falstad has the ability just now, but it's going to be a bit too late to make a play here. And it's going to be a boss marching through the top lane, trying to take the fort down. And they are aggressively trying to invade now too. And they're going for another kill. There's the flip. Yeah, nice trade. And the Riptire spreads them out, gusting them onto the target. That didn't really help Mei. And she goes down. But so will... Oh, hello. Hello? Hello? Chromie! Look at that little roadrunner over here. Meek is just rushing out of the fight and actually survives the battle. Level 13 talents ready. That gives us also the virulent reaction. And up at the top, the play in action as we have even more aggression now, thanks to the boss that finally is getting attacked here by Dust in Hoffmann. But they're now losing their bottom fort. That's a bit of a Fiesta setup. Now, first we saw the fort topside fall on the blue team side. Now they're taking the one down at the bottom of the map on their opponent's side, and they are making the play for the keep, which forces, of course, the rotation from top. They still have a talent advantage. They still have that level 13. There, on the other hand, is the setup against Garrosh, and he's like, I don't want to be here. So they're hopefully going through the small wall. I mean, they're trying to open it up, but they're a little bit slow on this one, and Garrosh will fall. Only question is, can they take more than only him down? The front line is dead, but what else is going to fall here? The Gust hitting 2 as they're trying to gust him into the corner. No, Darkus doesn't get the right angle though, but it is enough to isolate Stukov and take him apart. So at least on that end, well done by him. So with 13 in the hands of both teams, we have the objective popping up in another 10 seconds. And so far the story of the objective here on Braxis has pretty much been that the red team is winning this one, even if they lose every single fight around it. So, yeah, that was a little bit more on that end. But they're still trying to steal one of the camps here away. And Forrester is staying true to his style, goes straight into the Thunderstrike over here. Full-on Lightning Rod for him. But all the way topside now, the fight is about to happen, and Stukov isn't here yet. This is a 5 versus 4, and they should be able to at least go for Garrosh. Tries to get out with the Indomitable over here, gets followed, not taken apart. Chromie still firing away, and Junkrat is a bit low now. Yeah, also, Sonya in trouble, and damn, Chromie is just crushing at this point. Really doing a whole lot of work here with all that range damage. Talking about doing work, this camp down here has done a bit of work on the lane. Not really enough to threaten the fort yet, but again, it's getting a little bit closer on that end. Now we have on the damage side, Junkrat even taking over right now for the main damage department. Marcel is now rotating down to the bottom of the map, which means that we are again looking at a 5 versus 4. But it seems like the blue team even has a chance to win this one. They at least were trying, but Falstad came in with the Gust to ensure that they couldn't take down Malfurion. But right now, there's another avalanche. This time it didn't really do anything, but Chromie is in trouble. And yeah, that's the end of Sand Hitler. So with that kill, we have another one coming through. This time it's Falstad dying, and Garrosh with another setup as they're attempting to go for a follow-up kill. Especially Mei might be in trouble here. And in comes Malthael trying to take him down. And there's the kill right here. Nicely done. Yeah, the sustain that the blue team has with Zarya, with the support, and then of course also the tools on those tanks, Gladiator's Medallion, Indomitable, Inevitable End for Malthael, they really help to keep the team alive now. And this is the first time that they actually won the objective. So they have a 100% Zerg wave against a 33% wave, which means that this bot lane push could very well result with the keep falling, especially if you consider that level 16 is super close now. So with the extra talent that they have at this point, they can make an easy push now for the keep, take that down. And even the Riptire defense here shouldn't really do too much. It takes the Bailings down and everything, so that's at least nice. but this is still a pretty nasty wave to deal with. Malthael, then again, is at the top of the map trying to deal with a 33%. I'm not quite sure if he's really needed there. Gust creates a little bit more space, but I don't really think that they needed Malthael up at the top. I don't really think that keep was threatened. Down here, then again, it seems like this one is going to fall either way, but there's of course a risk attached to it. If you're fighting a 4 versus 5 for this long, if your opponent is able to force the battle, then you might lose a few heroes, as we can see right here. Zarya falls, and they're going for the follow-up. A little bit of a shove from Stukov, gets flipped away. Malthael is now here too. Should probably not overstay his welcome. Chromie is still firing away. Mei is trying to do what she can on the control, and it's going to be a play for Garrosh again. And Garrosh indeed goes down, but Chromie is also eliminating Malfurion, so that's a worthy trade. And, well, with all of this said and done, they're going for more, and oh my god! Such a close one. The kill is still going to happen. No, it isn't! Oh my god! She actually survives. Crazy. Falstad, bit low, but even he might make it out here. It's actually nuts that they were able to get away. Single-digit hit points for Mei in this fight, which is pretty respectable, so yeah, good on her. That was definitely cutting it close, but hey, didn't die, that's all that matters here. 14 kills to 10. This is really back and forth at this point. I like it. But let's have a look. Bot side, I mean, obviously Junkrat needs to try and defend this, but he has to be a bit careful. I would be really worried that they are trying to flank me right now. I could also see them go for boss at some point again. But now without vision, it's 5 versus 5 still. There's no talent advantage, so Mei is actually the one double checking what's going on over here. So that's nicely played by them, making sure that the boss is not taken at this point in time. But with the vision of the heroes positioning themselves at the bot lane, the blue team is now moving topside, which says, okay, we're going to take that forward. It's going to be an easy one. We're going to get that without any problems at all. And yeah, here we go. Here comes the setup again, as they're trying to make a play also maybe for this next camp here on the left side. Let's take a closer look at the damage too, by the way. We got Junkrat and Chromie still fighting the little battle, and so far Chromie is winning. Can fire away now. There's the Gust once again, but the kill against Garrosh. Garrosh is becoming the punching bag of Dust and Hoffmann, and right now they're stealing the camp too, so they're actually getting quite successful here. With Avalanche still in play, they're also making a play for boss now, and I really don't think that the blue team should go for this one. And they know. They were actually worried for a moment. Well, they might consider it. No, they don't. Yeah, that would have been a bit awkward, because with Avalanche in there, the chances of you actually taking this one are slim to none. At least if it's played correctly by Mei. Then again, will also of course be a fuck up at some point. Yeah, we're coming back to our wave clear. Nordarkos doesn't really have a whole lot of that, but is doing what he can now. Shouldn't honestly waste his time with all of this and focus on the backline first. You need to take those catapults down. So this can do damage too, but you should be more worried about these two bad boys, which is what he's doing now. But they might even lose some points on the core, and indeed they do. That's 4 points of the core. Probably not gonna play the biggest role at the end of the game, but again, there's a chance. So if you find yourself in a similar situation, catapults first ladies, at least if they are already targeting the core. So now that we have 14 kills to 11, and we're slowly starting to creep a bit further towards level 20, the next fight over the objective is popping up again. Ah, that's too early on the last rides. Ether a bit too excited here, too trigger happy on the button, and that is not a kill. Instead, Garrosh dies again. It's a little bit of a habit. Good setup though for the red team now. They're fighting over the bottom beacon, and top lane is also a problem for Rospiadol, because we have another big wave moving towards the keep itself. So there's actually a really, really good setup now. Someone needs to rotate up here if they want the objective on the other hand. Unless, of course, they're settling for the fort for now. Top lane is still pushing aggressively. And Malthael is actually trying to Hearthstone back here, simply because he's afraid that there's somebody coming his way trying to eliminate him. Problem is someone has to deal with this now. They've already let it do way too much damage, and now the fort at the bottom of the map goes down. Top lane has taken the top beacon control has been taken again, and they have another 100% to 0%. So this wave is going to be huge, and there's not going to be a massive amount of wave clear now. This is bad. This is really bad for the blue team. They had a great position after they took the bottom keep down, but now things have started to turn swiftly, and they are looking at a very tricky defense here. We're now 19 minutes in. Defending the keep should be pretty much impossible. especially if Junker plays his role right, and there's also a lot of tools that they can use to create some space. Mighty Gust is available, and Avalanche will be in another 3 seconds. So this is 100% keep. The question is simply, can they maybe already go for core here? Top lane shouldn't really be a problem. Okay, Chromie saving herself again. Keep is already down, so there's that. Riptire came out too, as they're starting to go for it. And in the meantime, as you can see, this isn't really going to do a whole lot. So here comes the attack for the core itself as they're trying to end the game. It has been incredibly back and forth the entire time. The shields are already getting scratched here. Catapults are moving in together with it. Here comes the Avalanche and the Root and the double kill. Beautiful play by the blue team, by the red team. Really nicely done. The shields are down. It's a 5 versus 3, and they have a really good shot at ending this. Level 20 will be close, and here goes Garrosh once again. This seems to be the end of it. Double kill against the red team, but again, they have quite a few heroes still around, and the core is falling quickly. This is game. The 1-0 lead in the best of 3 series for Dustin Hoffmann against Rospiedol. GG, and well played. Game number 2, Infernal Shrines. On the right side in the lead, Dustin Hoffmann. This time with D.Va. Whereas over to the left side of the map, Rospiedol on map number 2 is now going to try and equalize the series here. We got 10 Wocklav on Chromie, Ether on Blaze, Markotzel on ETC, Cassia on Malfurion, and Bronek is playing Jimmy in game number 2. Bubastis on D.Va for the red team. We got Nagab on Imperius, Nordakus on Liming, Stark on Rhaegar, and Tolnai on Hanzo for our second game. So yeah, D.Va gets played once more. We've seen her already a few times, of course, in other games, as for example the European and North American in-house games. Right now, in terms of talents, first of all, we have the Exterminator on level 1. We also have Block Party over here. A little bit weird, I think Progrock here would have been pretty easy to farm for him, and I don't really think he necessarily needs that, but fair enough. Block Party is also a pretty fantastic talent, so it's not like it's a waste or anything. Full Metal comes in as a level 1 talent for D.Va in the meantime. And off we go. Our fight in the middle of the map in a 5 versus 5 setup. Chromie, by the way, with a different approach here. No Dragon's Breath in game number 2. Instead, we have once again the first time as the level 1 talent. A little bit of a flank again, and Li Ming is immediately obliterated. Yeah, they're trying to go for another kill, and indeed they get it. Chromie comes through with the damage and annihilates Imperius. So that's a good start for the blue team. Nicely done. Yeah, of course they are highly motivated here. They want to make sure that they are winning this one so that they can force game number 3 and maybe turn this whole franchise around over here. But we'll see, time will tell. For now they're at least off to a good start. Having the 2 kills against 0 is already a pretty sweet opening here for them. Also, again guys, in the meantime, if you want to support the Heroes of the Storm coverage on YouTube and on Twitch, then you're more than welcome to check out patreon.com/Khaldor and support the stream and the channel over there. Big shout out to everybody that's already doing it, and a lot of the content that you actually have seen lately, and a lot of the improvements like the Insta replays, camera improvements and other stuff comes through the Patreon support. So thanks a lot for that, and again, it's being used to make sure that the stream is getting better and better and better in audio, video, and whatever there is. So thanks a lot for that. And again, if you want to support the channel, check it out. So yeah, big shout out to all the supporters here. In our game, on the other hand, there's a little bit of support happening right now as the blue team is trying to go for an invade on the camp, and the Khaldor gets stolen away. It's always annoying as hell if you are actually sitting in a situation like this and you're losing the camp. So that's why you normally have someone here anchoring and then trying to create some space for the team. But if you let that slide and then you get caught off guard, it results in the camp stolen away. You're doing all the work and it simply gets obliterated. The rushdown is in, by the way, on level 4. We got dominance for Li Ming. Also, in this case, the Strangling Vines right now. It's actually a pretty nice one, especially if you go up against a possible Ancestral Healing. Now, of course, with Rhaegar, you can go into Bloodlust too. Blizzard has tinkered around with those talents long enough so that Bloodlust is now a valid option for any Rhaegar player. but if you were thinking about going into Ancestral and then Strangling Vines are kicking in, then that's always quite the nuisance. I mean, you see it with Ana grenades as well. It's quite annoying when you're expecting a big heal to come through and then it just gets shut down quickly. So yeah, there's that. But, well, as all of this starts to continue, the blue team is really in a great spot. They got the initial 2 kills, they stole a few camps away. I mean, they're literally painting the map blue at this point. All 3 camps at the bottom half went to Ros Piadol, so they are doing fairly well here early on. Obviously, games and dynamics shifts a little bit after level 10 in particular, and after the first objective too. But you can build up a bit of momentum early on in the game and try to carry that with talent advantages then into mid and late game, which is pretty much what they're trying to do here. And the rotation on the red team side is a little bit late. Now, Blaze is obviously still sitting topside, but if you just look at the advantage now on stacks that we have for the blue team, that is pretty impactful, and it's going to be difficult to catch up on that. So a very, very good start here for objective number 1. And Blaze is now joining the fight, so they're still heavily ahead, and they're of course now going to try to lock the first objective in. That would also be a Frozen Punisher. At least the zone control from D.Va, but as we talk about her, she gets attacked, and oh my god! That was really at the last second that she went for the mech again. That could have backfired quickly here. But they are losing this objective 100%. And if they lose heroes now too, and it seems that's going to be the case, maybe even more than Imperious, because now D.Va's in trouble. And with the entire front line gone, guys, this is going to hurt. This is going to hurt a lot. They have 4 kills to 0. They need to at least bait over the wall. And they're not doing that either. Oh my god, finally the jump gets procced. ETC tries to follow it up. They should be able to take the fort down here. It's an amazing position for the blue team. What a great setup for them. They go for the fort immediately. They have 4 kills to 0 now. It's more than a level lead that they're holding at this point. And Blaze has rotated away from the team already, so he got side lane value for them too. This is a fantastic spot to be in now. What a great start here. Honestly, if you wanna tie a series, if you fall behind after a map, this is exactly the opening that you want. Now, the danger is that you're starting to get a little bit cocky. If you start to get a bit too arrogant and complacent, then it's easily possible for the opponent to win a team fight, get back in experience, and then put the game on eye level again. But at least for now, the situation of the blue team is pretty solid. Now, they need to make sure that they keep focused and that they don't overestimate their power in some of these fights now. But with the level 10 around the corner, they should also be able to, for example, either push down another fort or invade over here the Bruiser camp once that it's back on the map. They have a lot of tools that they can now work with, and that they should work with for sure. So we'll see what they can do with that. Right now, we have level 10 abilities ready, and that gives us, first of all, the bunker. Also, Mosh Pit is now in play. Against Liming, that's of course always a little bit of a tricky spot that you are in there, since she can easily interrupt it if she stays out of the pit. But here comes the proof against D.Va, who uses the Gladiator's Medallion to make herself unstoppable and dodge out on the temporal loop. We've seen it actually a lot of times right now. Gladiator's Medallion is an insanely powerful tool, and honestly, the longer it's in play, the more pros you see pros or like top players, semi-pros, complain about it. It's not really well received by players that know what they're doing. It makes for sometimes really awkward games, and a lot of the moves that you make are rendered just completely useless if somebody knows when and how to activate it properly, which situation to use it and when not. And the more that people get used to it, the easier, of course, it is for them. There's the Ancestral, by the way. We talked about the Strangling Vines on level 4 for Malfurion, so this is the moment where you're hoping to catch the ult so that you can reduce its healing power significantly. Bunny Hop for D.Va has been used in the meantime, and we got the arrow on Hanzo that he could fire out here at some point. Still 4 kills against 0, and still at 1 level lead for the blue team, as they're now trying to apply a bit more pressure on the bot lane in particular, since the occasional catapult pressure is coming through too. And up to the top, maybe a little bit of a small fight. I mean, this is really the moment where the red team can probably make their biggest plays and try to come back easily by taking a few good fights. They want to do that before level 13 is an issue, since if they don't force a fight now or make a play, there is always a very realistic chance for the blue team to catch enough experience that they can fight for the next objective with level 13 as an advantage. So you can see that the red team is actually starting to be a little bit aggressive around this. But the camp has already been taken. They're trying to time it. So they literally just have Chromie and some of the other heroes shield the spot here. And Blaze has already started to move away from the bot lane, as there's always the risk that someone is coming down to try and gank up on him. But neither of that is happening at this point. So they take the camp here, and they are very close to level 13 now. And if they just get maybe this wave over here, they should be able to catch the experience for that talent advantage over the objective, which is pretty much what they want to do now. So get a couple of stacks together if you can, but make sure that you work for this one as well. Yeah, there's good damage against Hanzo. Not really threatening him yet, but they have the level 13, and off we go. Nice talent advantage, so a good power spike for the blue team. And with that, Blaze already getting aggressive in the backline, trying to take Hanzo down. Nearly able to do that. Here comes the Ancestral, so a lot of ults already baited out. The explosion of D.Va's mech is also coming, and Blaze commits to his ult. Far away from the shrine, by the way. It would have been well advised to try and get close enough so they can use it to go for the objective too, but they are heavily ahead already. 27 stacks against 11. They're looking fantastic here in this game. And it's still a game with 0 kills for the red team. Let's not forget about that. This Arcane Punisher is very, very likely going to yield them another fort. There's nobody even defending this, and the problem is obviously that top side, Blaze is now pushing a minion wave towards the fort, and he gets assisted by the Shaman camp on top of that too. And I mean, Li Ming is the only one trying to take this down. Li Ming is going to lose this one. This fort is going to fall. And the one at the bottom of the map is not looking better either. I mean, it's honestly just like pressure all over the place. 4-2-0 right now, and that is... I mean, it's the entire outer ring of defense gone, everybody. Yeah, this is nuts now. This is really, really bad. With 4 kills to 0, this will be quite difficult here. Coming back in this position, I mean, how do you pull it off? You try to go into the same talent level, and then you go for a fight. You have to make this happen throughout the team fight. I don't really think that they have a chance waiting around for objectives anymore. Because if that lead in experience is any indication, then we're very likely going to look at a 16 talent advantage if the red team doesn't make any moves here. So they're starting to be aggressive now that they have level 13, and they need to be. This is the way to come back into this game. All of a sudden, ETC gets cleansed out by Malfurion, who does a good job here. But the kill against D.Va! The camp is taken, D.Va down. Things are spiraling out of control here. It's coming from bad to worse in this game. Damage output for Chromie. She is again all the way up at the top here with 25,000 that she rolls. And yeah, it's only the keeps that are still standing. Things are starting to become incredibly difficult. Once that half level has been bridged, it's gonna be even harder, but NoGap is apparently trying to go for the solo kill over here. Coming for Blaze, but dives a little bit too deep, and that's gonna be the end of him. Yeah, not really the smartest move that he made today, but I can understand why he felt he needed to go for it. At this point, you're probably so frustrated that you're just saying like, hey, fuck it, I wanna have this kill right now. But not happening. So Imperius just YOLOs and dies a painful death, as everybody else is pushing through the middle in an attempt to take the first keep down. Now, well, D.Va is a bit annoying. Nice penetrating round. Fantastic one. Pushing the mech out of position. That was well done. And that actually allowed them to also keep those Khazras in play, and even the catapult survived it. So the keep in the middle is 100% gone if they want it. And apparently they're saying like, no, we don't need it. I mean, if you don't take the keep now, hello, team, you got a Chromie. Just kill that thing. Thank you. There we go. I was honestly worried for just a second that they wouldn't be able to finish it off. But here comes the 16, and they come in. It's party time. Immediately interrupted by Nodakus. Nicely done. Li Ming keeping out of the mosh and then interrupting it right away. But the fight isn't over yet. It should be, though. They have nothing to gain here. The blue team can't win anything here. What they could do is try and go down to the bottom of the map and siege up on that. But unless they're able to get some kills through and then move towards the core, there's nothing really to win in this position. Now, they could try and set this up at the bottom of the map, but why would you? Next objective is coming up soon, so let's head back to the Nexus, get a little bit of mana, some hit points, and then use that level 16 talent to just come through topside and get another objective. I gotta say, this has been full control from start to finish from the blue team so far. Very different game from them compared to what we've seen in game number 1. They have a lot of control here, really, I mean, honestly, a lot of discipline too. Not really overextending, playing it really close to home, and now with the objective, just, I mean, this should be an easy grab for them. They should be able to at least get the top keep too. On the other hand, Dustin Hoffmann, they are saying like, screw it, we're gonna go for the attack here. They are half a level until 16, but they feel they cannot wait any longer. With 20 stacks already taken for RPD, the blue team is so close of getting another Punisher, they didn't want to risk it here. Now there's another explosion, Chromie moves away from it, nobody's really hit, but they are still fighting, and a lot of ults have already been used. Pretty much every single ult has been used. Everybody was hitting R buttons like crazy, and right now, the chance to maybe get one of those kills. 16 is super close now for the red team, but it just doesn't matter too much because they are so far behind. Unless they really get some kills quickly, there's no way for them to turn this objective fight around. With 32 stacks already acquired for RPD, I just don't see it happen. But maybe if they get some kind of combo through now, they're trying to go for the kill, and Pierius falls though, and that might not be the only one. No, it seems like we're gonna have another death. This time, it is D.Va who dies. Game over, baby. But there's the first kill from Hanzo and Liming as they come through for the team to take down Blaze. But the objective is taken. The Mortar Punisher through the top lane right now. So they're starting to move in the attempt to get keep number 2. And chances are that this is going to be a successful attack. We still have another kill though. I don't know what Jimmy was trying to do here, but that was definitely a little bit too optimistic. So, yep. Well done from Nordakus and the red team. They're saving her. No bait over the wall, or well, at least it's a little bit too late. They might just be able to say, oh, that was nearly a kill. That could have been it. No, but I think they're going to be able to save the keep. Thanks to, I mean, it was pretty much a YOLO, right, from Jimmy. Thanks to Jimmy, like, being locked into this 1 versus 1 and losing it against Liming, the keep is still there. So it's not over yet. 8 kills to 2. I mean, it's not over until the fat lady sings, and so far I don't hear anything. So they try to go for ETC. He slides out. A little bit more cover fire from Chromie as he's trying to help them to escape, and ETC gets out. Nice. We also have catapults already close to the core, so someone has to go back and deal with that, because if they don't, 14 minutes in, the core might actually get scratched a little bit. It's not going to fall yet. It's too early in the game. And Rhaegar is now coming in too, waits for a little bit of mana first, but the blue team is already on their way to grab a few more camps and then play around those. Damage output in this game, 39,000 for Hanzo, and 47,000 for Chromie, as she's itching a little farther and farther away from Hanzo in the little quest for top damage in this one. And half a level to 20, I mean, it's a 2-level lead that we still have. 2 levels ahead, nearly at level 20. Blue team, as I said previously, they're playing a great game here. And they're not overextending either. We got now the shifting sands, we got the piercing sands here. A lot of sand, just in general. So now with level 20 coming in just a second. There we got it. 20 talents come through. And that gives us the burn notice. Good show, by the way. Lunar shower. And what else we're gonna get for Jimmy? Alright, Jimmy with a little mortar attack on the execute here. Talking about good shows, by the way. If you haven't watched it yet, make sure that you check out The Boys. 2nd season currently being released. 1 episode at a time. A little pissed about it, I gotta say. I'm so used to Netflix and other streaming services just dumping the entire season on a single day and you being able to binge it over the weekend, that it's really weird to now wait a week for a show. And it's like kind of crazy. So yeah, but fun show. If you're a little bit on the anti-hero setup, I can heavily recommend. Definitely a good one. Either way now, as we have a few heroes also in our game, we are currently seeing the siege at the top keep as the blue team is trying to get an advantage out of their level 20 talent. And so far, it's not looking too bad, honestly. They just need to play around this a little bit more, poke away. They definitely can poke the keep down with Chromie and other ranged heroes in the mix. I mean, they got Jimmy with his ult, so they could literally just go for ult, zone them out a little bit, poke with Chromie, and go for it. And I honestly don't see a reason why you wouldn't do that. I mean, if you are in this spot and you have a level 20 advantage, there's no real reason not to go for that play and drop Jimmy's ult. What are you saving it for? The next game? It's not going to do you any good there. If they would have used that right away when they were setting this up, it would be ready again for the objective. So, obviously at this point in time, it's too late, but if you use that immediately when you siege up topside, then it's going to be ready again when the shrine pops up. This is what you see on the top level, quite a lot. That hasn't really come through here. Then again, they have still a good position. They have a really good setup where they can go for the next Punisher. This one would move through the mid lane, and they have level 20. It's of course a situation in which the red team is forced to fight. They can't really do anything else. I mean, what are you going to do? Try to get level 20 so you can defend with 20 against the Punisher is your other option. Is that really going to be the play? They decide against it. They instead make the play for the fight. Either way, it's a tricky situation to be in. D.Va is down nearly immediately. They can't get the counter kill. Perfect Ancestral on Imperius, so at least they get the kill against ETC. Are they actually winning this one? They take down Blaze, but Imperius falls too. 3 versus 3 now, as Li-Ming looks for resets, and Jimmy barely makes it out, gets healed. Problem is, of course, that the Arcane Punisher is now grabbed by the blue team, and they have a big push coming through the top. Another setup with catapults moving through the bottom of the map. They are in trouble on pretty much every single lane right now. Yeah, this is getting tricky. The defense top side is set up down at the bottom of the map. The keep is losing hit points quickly. Li-Ming is trying to deal with the catapults, obliterates them in the same move, and now of course a move for Core. 3 versus 3 still. 10 seconds for D.Va to come back. Ult on Jimmy has been used already, and they're making their play right there. And they're trying to go for Core. They could instead try to go for the keeps and take both of them down, but they're trying to end the game here. I'm not sure if they can though. It could be possible for them, but now D.Va is back. Imperius will be back soon. Yeah, and they have the damage output. They're able to get the damage through. Easy peasy. And that was a real solid game from start to finish from Rospiadol as they lock in the victory on map number 2. And therefore force game number 3 in this series of Division 1. Nicely done and well played as we're heading into the final map of the series. Game number 3, decision time. Let's find out which team takes the series here in Division 1. I want to try to do a little bit more of Division 1 in this season of Heroes Lounge. I mean, usually I try to get at least some games through, and of course Division 7 as well. But since we are focusing a bit more here on the amateur scene, I also want to give you guys a bit more of an idea of the top teams within the division, that you know what's going on there and which up-and-coming players or teams you might see in some of the tournaments here in Europe. On the left side now in Cursed Hollow, we got Tenwoclav on Chromie, again for the 3rd time in a row. We got Makotzel on Mei, Ether on Blaze, Bronick on Falstad, and Cassia on Anna. There's on the right side of the map Nagab on Muradin, Tolnai on Greymane, Nodakus on Tracer, we got Bubastis on Sonya, and Stark is playing Rega. Alright, Chromie once more, this time with the deep breathing. Again, the same that we saw on the first map. And she has a little bit of an assist here too, with good old Anna being able to drop the nano boost later on in the game. Now, we had a similar setup already in game number 1. Well, not really the same setup, but what I wanted to pretty much get at is that we see a Falstad play already in one of the previous games. So, talking Falstad, the bird is down. But the interesting part here is I want to see what he goes for on level 7, because it would honestly be a crime to not go for a boomerang on level 7 if you're playing on this map. Now, you are up against Greymane and against Tracer, so I can understand it a little bit more if you want to go for the level 7 Lightning Rod talent just to stay a little bit safer there. But on such a big map with such a huge focus on potential macro play, it would be very strange to not see the boomerang attempt. Now, if you play with boomerang, you need to of course be a bit careful how you position yourself in those team fights. But yeah, all of that is still happening there. Typical setup, by the way, the team that has the objective on, or the first curse, the first tribute spawn on their Siege Giant side takes the Siege Giants first. The red team does exactly that. And the blue team goes for the Bruiser camp because they are trying to set up their own Siege Giant camp when the objective is present on the map so that they have a bigger pressure point against the red team. For everybody, most people are probably not, this is probably not news, but in case you don't really know what exactly I'm talking about, you'll see that in just a second. So once that we have this camp taken, you'll see that we have down here the objective spawning, and then the red team will have to decide what they want to do. Do they want to have a 5-man at the bottom of the map fighting for tribute number 1, which would give those Siege Giants free reign up at the top, or do they keep a hero topside for the defense and then only play with 4 heroes at the bottom tribute, which of course would allow Falster then to fly down easily and make it a 5 versus 4 battle. Either way, there's a very good chance for the blue team to secure themselves the first tribute. Shouldn't really be a big problem for them, but time will tell. So over here, this one has already been taken. They're actually not guarding it. The only thing that they have is the trap here. But that could be stolen away, especially with the Tracer in play. But still, they will take it now that the tribute has been announced. They're timing it as well as they can around the objective. And now off we go. There's the camp taken by the red team. Pretty much a similar thought process that they have right there. Falset is currently sitting up in the bush. And Tolnai is the one who has to try and defend this. But here comes the fight at the bottom of the map. And now Falstad can pretty much burn a wave down topside and then fly down and help out with this. Down here, May already going for the trade. And Blaze missing the stun. But Falstad and Greymane are now fighting it out all the way up at the top. And the same thought process with Sonya in the middle, who took another wave down and is escorting these bruisers a little bit closer towards the gate itself. Here comes the channel and the lock-in. Nicely done. Blue team, they get the tribute. Falstad, after pushing another wave out topside, is now moving into the middle of the map instead to help with the defense against the bruiser camp. Blaze is helping out too, doing the same thing over here. And with that, we have a slight advantage on the objective for Rospiadol. And on the other hand, of course, the level and talent lead for Dust in Hoffmann. At least for now. On the stacks, 11 for Chromie. We got 10 on the baseline on Muradin, so he's actually doing fairly well this early in the game. Has also committed to Sledgehammer on level 4, by the way. That helps, of course, a little bit with it. Yeah, and talking about our little dwarf, he misses the Stormbolt right away here. Chromie committed to the Gladiator's Medallion anyways, trying to make sure that the Stormbolt wouldn't stun her out or she would have died there. But as you can tell, the Stormbolt never even connected with her. And again, we don't have Boomerang. Not really a fan of this. Again, you give up so much on Falstad. It can be a good talent, but especially on this map, having Boomerang available would have given you so much more on the macro side, and you lose a lot of the advantages that Falstad gives you in this setup if you go for this particular talent. Either way, now that we have another fight over the objective, over tribute, it seems like the blue team was pretty close to grabbing this one, but now Chromie is in trouble. Oh, gets saved, completes the quest, and they nearly kill Sonya. The fight on the right side doesn't go much better for the red team. They also lost a lot of hit points on all 3 heroes here. They still need to guard this a little bit though. And Rega is about to commit Sudoku here. Yep, that little Chihuahua bit a bit more off than he could chew. So jumping in on this, I mean, this was... everybody saw this coming. They signaled this. So that was an easy kill against Rega. The tribute, by the way, is still not taken because they are now trying to get the boss at the same time. I honestly don't know what the blue team is doing. Like, they split themselves so thin right now. And finally, thanks to the Sleeping Dart, they are able to shut Muradin down as he's trying to go for another interrupt and lock in the second tribute. But this could have backfired. They were way too greedy here, and they didn't really anchor the play at all. They anchored it a little bit towards the top side against Sonya, but they never really controlled the corridor to the right side of the tribute in order to deal with that. So that was a bit strange. Bottom of the map now. Still our 1 versus 1 between Greymane and Blaze. But as you can see, he's a bit low on mana. Gets some back through the globes, but that's it. And now we have camps back up on the map, which teams are going for right away. Now, talking bosses just a bit, if you look at the setup that we are seeing in this game, the setup for boss control is way better for the red team. Way better. And talking about control, they're trying to control the objective here too. And they might be able to get that. Oh, Greymane! No! He's down, but the camp is stolen. Not quite sure if it was worth the price, because that's 1 camp for 2 heroes. But they steal it away. and Mirrodin was able to make it out there. The early level 10 with Avalanche now taken is ready though. Yeah, now that Avalanche is actually allowed in Heroes Lounge, you don't really see a lot of Ice Wall anymore, as you can already tell. That's something that we've been talking about for a long time. Obviously, Avalanche was bugged, and therefore, at least in Heroes Lounge, it wasn't allowed. It was allowed in other tournaments, like, for example, the Panda Cup. But the main reason why you saw Ice Wall after Ice Wall taken whenever May was played in Heroes Lounge was simply that Avalanche was not available as an option. So now that we have level 10 on both sides, we have the Curse already in play, and they should really try and get Falstad out on those lanes a little bit. Here comes the fight all the way up at the top, and that's the end of Chromie. Wow, awesome, nicely done. That was a fantastic defensive Avalanche that we've seen just a second ago from May. Well played by her. That definitely saved their ass. That could have been a huge issue. But right now, that Curse doesn't do a whole lot for them, honestly. So they are in a bit of an awkward position here, because Blaze is at least getting a bit of experience for it, but just look at the situation that we're having on the map now. I mean, honestly, what happened in favor of the blue team thanks to that Curse? Pretty much nothing. They took, I guess, a tower or so down. Maybe also a wall, but there's no fort eliminated. They don't have a big lead in experience either. That is a bit of a problem. That's a really big problem, actually. That Curse did jack shit. They honestly are losing now heroes. If he has another Stormbolt available, that's going to be the end of May. Yeah, he missed it. I mean, he has to hit it too. Availability is one thing. Hitting it is another. So, there's that. But, yeah, off we go. There's 4 kills against 2. They're slightly ahead in experience, but this is not a big advantage or anything. So, kinda unfortunate. Tolnal and Nordakus are now sitting tight. Here comes the attack again towards the next camp. They're trying to clean house, and we have the boss attack. But as I said, this is not really a good boss lineup. They have, like, you have Rhaegar on the other side with a lightning shield, you have Greymane who's great on it, you have Sonya, but the blue team doesn't have a whole lot when it comes to boss control. This is gonna take a long time. And the red team has absolutely... trade being used it too. The red team is gonna burn this down, I mean, much faster, as you can see. I mean, they might even get it first. I don't think they can. They might actually get it first, even though they started so much later on this one. But either way, you can tell they are way faster on the boss. They take it at exactly the same time. So this could become a problem in the later stages of the game when you have bosses that could decide the fate of a fort or a keep easily. Now, once again, the Bronzebeard Rage on 13 with that particular build that Mirrodin went for, especially since he didn't go for the double Thunderclap on level 4 and instead spec'd into Sledgehammer. You normally don't see healing static on level 13 then as a result, since you don't get the max value out of it. But the boss defense at the bottom is already ongoing, and this should not really... The fort should actually not fall here. Might be a little bit closer than expected, but Greymane is there. And yep, the jump in might just be destroyed. Yeah, and the boss barely isn't able to take it down. But now there's, of course, another tribute about to spawn. And all the way up at the top, we see a similar picture, even though this boss, of course, had to go through the wall, so that's one thing. But right now, we have the bot lane already set up. The red team is there in full force and has full control over the situation. That should be an easy pick for them. Falstad is flying in. Oh, and flies straight into Tracer. Has to be careful here. There's the bomb connect, and he makes it out. But the tribute... Did he just restart the channel? Did I just see that correctly? Wow. I'm not quite sure if I caught that properly, but it looked to me for a second as if he restarted the channel. That should have been an easy pick for them, so it's a bit weird. Mirrodin instead in... Oh my god. Mirrodin and Sonya both down. What should have been easy picking with the position that they had is now a fight in favor of the blue team. Yeah, they didn't anchor this properly. They didn't really anchor this the way that they should. They had an early position on this. They needed to zone the heroes out better. And now the blue team is able to grab it. Still 6 kills against 2. Blue team with the lead, honestly, again. And now also serious damage at the top side fort. So this one is likely going to fall. Unless Greymane can really burn this down, but I don't really think that he's going to be in time on this one. Ah, but the Siege Giants retarget, so the fort is actually still going to be ready. But the blue team, generally speaking, is a bit ahead. I mean, shout out to RPD. They had some trouble in game number 1, actually a lot of it. But then game number 2, they really controlled the game from start to finish. And now, as we're looking into the 3rd game, they are still looking pretty good. You could argue that they should have been able to do a little bit more with the first curse. But they are still ahead. So it's still an open game. We have 15 versus 15. Similar structural situation. Here comes again the cleanse. Yeah, self-cleanse for Blaze. Can he get out? He should be able to. Problem, of course, is that the fort is not going to get wrecked. That's the advantage when you're running the double wolf team over here. Yeah, tag team wolf power with Rega and Greymane. The gust. Okay, so far so good. Can they follow up on this though? Immediately the cleanse from Rega coming out, and they're still able to get away. Nice idea here with Falstad, but a little bit too forced and didn't work out. And Gladiator's Medallion gets used to shut Chromie's ult down, so that worked nicely for them. And with that, we are heading into the next potential tribute. Yeah, there's Bloodlust used very early. Greymane isn't even here, so that was a bit of an awkward move there. I'm not quite sure if that was really intended, but that was a very, very early Bloodlust. A little bit too early. Stoneform is now in. That's a lot of matches that have just now been burned by the blue team. So this is going to be slightly awkward. They need to be careful here. 16 is ready for both teams now. We got the acclamation in here. And right now, there's again the channel. Red team hasn't won a single tribute yet this game. Not one. Okay, they're trying to isolate Muradin here. He's a little bit low, but so is Ana. And Ana is down. Ana is dead. And they're trying to go for the bird. The bird is also eliminated, and so is Chromie. That's a triple kill, ladies and gentlemen. Easy pickings as they are trying to follow up with another one against Blaze, and he doesn't stand a chance here. Everybody is rather low on the red team side, but that doesn't really matter anymore. I mean, they were able to take down 4 heroes. That's a tribute for sure. Bosses are going to be up in 45 seconds. That's not really going to help them too much. Bot lane has to be defended. That's where Sonya is now headed. But of course, the rest of the team can now focus on, well, I guess on camps. Honestly, maybe they could have gone into the middle and just like take the fort down with the wall already gone. I don't see a reason why they couldn't just push the lane out and go for the fort here. That would have been a free fort for sure. Death timers are not insane at this point in the game, but they're definitely long enough to allow them to take the structure down. So that's a bit unfortunate. Yeah, I feel they could have done a bit more with it. Maybe the idea was that they were... Honestly, I think it was just a straight up mistake. Sonya or someone else had to, of course, go down to the bottom of the map either way to deal with the wave, but everybody else could have turned this into a 4 versus 5. Or sorry, 4 versus 1 against Mei on the fort over here. And I don't think that Mei would have even contested that. I mean, why would she? Just risking to die and add a staggered death to the problem? I don't really see that happening. 6 kills to 6. And now we have the bosses up on both sides. In addition to that, the next tribute is also in play. So off we go. We have an opportunity if they can win the fight here. Pretty much if you win the fight here, you get a free tribute and a free boss. If you can win it in a significant fashion. And both of them are going to be looking for this now. So Greymane already throwing the bullet out. Here comes the Bloodlust. They're trying to make the play. Falstad with a gust. Trying to render it pretty much useless. But the bird is down and Muradin is wreaking havoc in the back. And he's not the only one. They're all diving in on this now. The fort is still there. But there's the kill against Chromie. The double kill. The triple kill. They are shut down hard. They're even going for Mei. They want to make this a 5-man team wipe. And they easily pull that off. There's the pull on Greymane, and now the chance to either go for keep or go for boss. And why go for the keep if you can go for the boss instead? Seems to be the train of thought over here. A little bit weirded out by this. Again, this is pretty much a free keep now that we're having them moving in. So they can try to go for both, I suppose, and take it with the boss. But I think they could also have played this slightly differently. Either way, the keep should fall. It's fine at the end of the day. So now that they're starting to move through the bottom of the map with the help of the Siege Giants and the boss, still a couple of seconds until the rest of the blue team's back. They should get this one 100%. And honestly, with level 20 now also ready, maybe they can even go for core. I think it's a bit of a stretch because we're only 15 minutes in, so the boss doesn't really scale that hard yet. But they have a bit of an opportunity to pull that off. If not, then a rotation topside, defend the Siege Giants and go for their own boss might just be the play. They should honestly rotate away from this, I think. Because there's a tribute that would give them the curse. Unless the blue team fucks this up, the game is not going to end here. The boss is not strong enough at this point. unless the blue team screws it up. So we'll see how that works out, but with Chromie firing away, with Gust being available and Avalanche in just a second, this should not be the end of the game. Here comes the Bloodlust. They're gonna be trying to make a bit of a play. Where's the Gust when you need it, just to dodge out on that. So far we haven't seen it. Here it comes. The boss is already taken down. Core hasn't taken any damage at all, but they're still fighting around for it. Avalanche is ready, but isn't getting used here. So now they have to move away. They didn't really accomplish anything. The tribute is still up on the map, and they couldn't take the top boss either. So they might lose few heroes on the move away from this one. But yeah, that was a little bit misplayed. Now again, you hope of course that your opponent makes a mistake. You hope that you're able to get a kill, maybe 2, then push the core regardless. But it didn't really work here. Yeah, you can't end in this situation unless your opponent royally fucks up. If you have Avalanche against you, and you have Mighty Gust against you, and the stuns on place, plus Sleeping Dart, it's just too much. You won't, even with Greymane and Sonya plus Bloodlust, you won't be able to make that play. So now they're going for the boss top side because it's a 5 versus 4, and also notice that the blue team was the one locking the tribute in. Again, this is a bit tricky because the red team had all their chances to just move topside, claim the tribute, go for the boss, and put this into a really bad spot for the blue team, and eventually maybe even take a second key. But right now they are trailing. It's half a level until the blue team hits their own level 20 talent, and at the same time as all of this is happening, we have now a boss taken, we have a potential curse against them, so this is kind of nasty. And they are sitting at the bottom of the map. They're hoping for... I honestly don't know what they're hoping for here. Why would anybody move down at this point? They're really hoping that Ether sits here and says, like, guys, I have to defend this. He's gonna Hearthstone for that. But he actually stays long enough for him to get the kill anyways, doesn't he? Jesus. Yeah, and that one is late too. That should not have happened. Yeah. Bloodlust just as the Gust comes through. Yeah, tribute has not been collected either. 5 versus 4 though. But the boss is already on the keep, so that's the next problem. The fight at the same time is also happening here. And there is the tribute locked down in just a moment. So they have the curse. Can they get the kills? It's a back and forth right now. Everybody just wants to get the advantage that will win them the game. Top keep has fallen to the boss, by the way. But another one that falls is Chromie. And Falstad is taking the camp on the way back now too. But they have to really do some work here. They need to do something. They want to go for core. They are moving through the bottom of the map, or actually through the sidewall here. They have 3 catapults. That's the first thing that you're going to try and save. Save the catapults. Save the world. Sorry, that was the cheerleader. I'm mixing this up all the time. Bosses, by the way, doing a little bit of damage. Falstad is trying to go for the back door, but with Greymane in the mix, I don't see it happening, but it's still a lot closer than expected. So nicely done. Dustin Hoffmann with a 2-1 victory against Ross Pierre Dollars. They log in a 2-1 win in Division 1 of Heroes Lounge. GG. Nicely done. Well played.